Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. So this is my autumn altered book that I have been making. This is the last episode, which is decorating the cover. And so this is the end project. This is time travel because all the filming that you're about to see, I didn't know how it was going to end up. So I've made a little elasticated sort of belly band thing here that holds a little journaling card and a tag, which could be put in the journal, and a writing board because I felt it needed a writing board. So then that is the front of the journal. Just put a little simple book plate there. And you may sit there and go, Jez, the cover was blue. We've been watching this and following, and the cover was blue. Yeah, it's not blue anymore. So you can see how I did this to make it not a blue cover. Okay, so we've got ourselves a very dark cover, and it's covered in like this plastic, it's like a plastic coating. We've got gold going on, so I thought it's going to be hard to cover. Because I've already completely finished the journal, I couldn't put anything over that involved folding down, so I just need to sort of decorate the front. I don't really want any blue showing because it's not really going to go. So I had a long hard think and I tried several different things, and this is how it's now looking. I managed to get something on there, never mind. So I have done the back and the spine, but not the front yet. So I did the spine different to the back. So I started with just adding some Distress Oxide ink and Distress Oxide sprays, which are quite new to me. They only arrived a few days ago, and they left like a chalkiness on it. And although the effect was beautiful and I sprayed it with water and it was lovely, it just all rubbed off and I kept getting it on my hands. So I thought, oh, that's no good. Did like the effect. So then I thought, oh, well, to seal it, I'll cover it all in some matte medium. And all that did was smudge it all together. And so I just ended up as if I'd painted it. And I thought, well, it just looks like I painted it. And then I thought, well, why don't I paint it? So I've then gone forward and used acrylic paints. On it, I've got yellow ochre and raw sienna, which I thought were quite good colours to go with the colours of the journal. But I thought I need to give it something to grip. So I sanded it, I covered it in gesso. Then this is how I did this. So I've managed to make this look pretty much the same. So then I did a layer in this, let it dry, and a layer in this, and then I went round the edges in a bit of gold gilding wax. And when I also added sort of to the edges a bit of Cajun Craze ink, and then I sprayed again with the Distress Oxide. Had the same problem, so then I used the matte medium to go over the top, and it kind of mixed it all together. And then when it was dry, I then finally kind of dry brushed on some of the sienna, and so then I dry brushed it on the back as well, and so I think they match quite well now. Looks like they were all done in the same way. So we're going to tackle the front, and we're just going to do the painting. We're not going to use the Distress Oxide inks at all. I've got my serial liner down. I'm going to get messy, but that's it. So the first job is to sand. The spine had gold writing all the way down there and you can't see it. So I am going to be able to cover all this, although I am going to probably put something on the front. I haven't yet decided how I'm going to do the front, but you'll be able to see that because I've showed you already in the intro, so you'll know where I'm going with this. So hopefully, because I've got the microphone on, you should be able to hear me whilst I'm doing this sanding, because the sanding will be in the background. It works really well when you sand around the edge. It really takes it down, which is good because that's where I want the gold to be. Already got this edge here sanded from doing the spine, but it really does take that off well. But it's just about giving it a taking the shiny top off so that the paint can stick. The gesso will help with that as well. And I did, when I started this, I was like, I probably should have done the cover first, and then if it all went peak-tong, I could have used a different book. That's not how I work, really. And so I've got a few ideas of how I want to decorate the front, but I haven't decided yet. There we go. So I think that's enough of that done. And then I'm just going to wipe over it a bit to get the dust off. So you can see where I kind of put the paint on here. So first thing, bit of gesso. This is just white gesso. I bought this in 2020 during lockdown, and you can see how much I've used. I've not even got halfway down the pot yet. So that's that. Got my trusty silicone brush, so just going to rub this over, and this is just to give it a base for the paint to stick to. Sanding would have helped, but just want to put some gesso on so I'm certain. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm certain the paint will stick. There we are. Now you can speed the drying process up with a heat gun. Otherwise you'll be here forever waiting for it all to dry. So that's that. That's fine. Still see a bit of gold through there, but that's okay. I don't mind a little bit of gold coming through. That's perfectly all right. Now, I did do a layer of this first and then a layer of the other, but actually I think I might just go for the sienna. I'm just going to do a blob on there and then use my paintbrush. So now we'll just go over, and now I'm thinking maybe putting that lighter stuff on first might work, because this has got white underneath it. I could just do 2 coats of that. There we go. Change your mind. So good at changing my mind. Put this on first, and then the layers will be the same as the spine. I don't know why I didn't think to put acrylic paint on the cover straight away, because I had seen somebody else do it. I think it was Carol Tinson. She painted a cover, which I thought, watching her, and I went, oh, that's a really good idea, paint the cover. I never thought of that. And it does help with these modern books. It's a good way to completely change them. Well, I squeezed a bit too much on there, never mind. I did manage to get a couple of tubes of this stuff in a charity shop. The rest I got when Hobbycraft had them at half price. They seem to do that most years. I think that's fine. And there's quite a bit of a different colour to the rest of it, but then we're going to put the sienna on it anyway. No, yeah, raw sienna on it. So I'm just going to dry that. There we go. That didn't take too long. Bit of wetness still there. So now I'm going to go over with the raw sienna. I'll put it down here where it's been before. Cheap as Chips paint palette. Free with every box of cereal. So yeah, I think it is worth putting the undercoat on because that's giving a nice effect, I think. Having a little bit of it showing under. Right, so blast that lot. So that's that bit done. And we can see that it's a little bit different there in that top corner. Quite like the effect. And it is looking very, very much the same now as the rest of it. So I'm gonna, because these have had matte medium on it, I think it's worth putting the matte medium on. Right, so I am gonna do exactly what I did. This is possibly completely unnecessary, but I'm going to use, that's ground espresso, it was gathered twigs, wasn't it? So I'm going to use the gathered twig spray, because that's what I did, and I think it does actually give it a bit of a layer that builds up of the colour. So I just sprayed a bit on it, that'll do. Giving this a wipe. These are new purchases. I bought 5 different colours, and yeah, I've had a little play with them on paper. I quite like. I then gave that a blast because I'm too impatient. There we go, and then I did give it a little bit of a dab where the bits weren't as dry as I would have liked, and I do love that effect, but it came off on fingers sort of powdery, which is why I then got out the matte medium and put it over it, and that kind of mixed it all up, so it just sort of added then. So just put a dollop of that on my spreader that's still got a bit of gesso on. Let's wipe that off. Usually with this silicone brush I let it dry and then it just peels off all the glue and stuff that's on it. So now we put this over, and you can see it kind of mixes up the other thing that's on it, so that gives you another different colour effect. because it is used to thin acrylic paints and that, and it's sort of mixing with the oxide as well, and so it is giving you another little effect. And this is all the things I did to create the covers, well, the effects on the other parts of the cover. There we go. So I'm going to give that a blast. So you're getting, instead of a flat colour, you've got different sort of levels of colour going on there, which I like. Bits there that aren't quite dry. And then I came in with a bit of ink, because this is a very similar colour, and I kind of just went round the edges where it would possibly still be, well, you know, where it would be held and worn and have a different colour effect going on. I'll put it there. I can see a little bit of white come through. Just plain, I loved it. I love doing this. And then I got my gold. I got my glove, because I didn't really want that on my fingers, even though my hands are really, really filthy or inky. And then I took a bit of this and we are just going to go down the edges. And I think this is what finishes it off really well. I do want to go on the edge of the book, cover up that blue. I do need to come on the inside, but I'm going to have to be careful because I've got lace there, whereas I didn't have that on the back. I would suggest that you did your cover first, or at least did it before you decorate the inside bits of it. I didn't do that. I'm a numpty. But and then I kind of came in a little bit on the corners and the edges. And then I did give it a little wipe to maybe knock areas back. like so. And then look into the inside. I'm thinking that I'm getting in a right old mess. That's what I'm thinking. Let's turn you around this way. That I might bring in a little brush and maybe do a little bit of painting on this bit rather than my finger. Paint it on would probably be the safest way of doing this. Don't mind getting a little bit on the paper. Just don't want masses on it. I think that's the only way really that I could have done this. When it's dry, I can have a look and see what needs touching up, if anything. And I will leave this to dry before I close the book and continue with the last bit of the paint effect. And then I've got to decide what I'm going to put on the front cover and the closure. Yep, that's looking good. A little bit around these edges here. Yep. So I'm going to leave that to dry and then we'll come back to it and see what's left to be done. So what I've decided to do is I'm just going to put that on there, fold the book over, because I want to do some dry brushing, and so I want to use this paint before it dries up. So I just then, as a finish off, just went over the top a bit. So we've got, so it looks like it's old and you've got wear and tear. And so you've got bits of gold showing through, bits of different colours showing through. So this has had, you know, lots and lots of people touching it, handling it, causing discoloration, etc. So that's it done. So I'm now gonna leave that to dry before we do the next bit. Okay, so that has all dried now. Let me show you what the cover looks like. So that is beautifully matching all the way along. I'm very happy with how that's turned out. So now we're ready with the decoration. So I have decided to go with something really sort of simple. I just want to put, I've done some prep, I just want to put a book plate on it because it kind of looks like an old sort of leather book that would just have a little book plate. But obviously I can't attach the book plate through this because I've decorated the other side. These ones I've got screws with, so I could have screwed it through, but I can't. So I cut a little bit of chipboard, and then I painted it so that it matches, so I can attach this to this chipboard with the brads and then stick it on. That's my way around that. And then I just stamped journal on some of the papers so that it matches, and that will slip down there quite nicely. I might glue it. I might glue it to it. But it didn't know it. So I think I might do that. So putting that on there in the right place. I'm going to take my pencil and draw around that. Yep. So that I know where to stick this down. So I'll stick this down. Stick it down there. Will be good. Will be good. So going to do that. Then it won't fall out, and whoever gets it can change what it says if they want to. There we go. Where's my tweezers? Can't find my special tweezers, so I think these are Christmas cracker tweezers. So we'll go down there. We'll have a bit of wigglage in this. I don't think I'm going to need it. I might just go up a little bit. Yep, that works. Yep. Yeah. So liking that. Right. So now I need to put some holes so that I can put the brads through. So, oh, I might hit the microphone then. I do apologise. I'm still getting used to it. So I'm putting that in there like that. So it's level at the bottom. And then I'm going to get my hole. Poke a hole in there. Poke a hole in there. Let's check that's gone all the way through. It has. It has. So, a brad. Go through there. And then go through there. I may need to make the hole a bit bigger. Yep. There we go. Through now. Put the other one in there. So these brads didn't come with these book plates. Screws came with these book plates. And I since purchased brads in this colour. They work perfectly. Like so. And then we'll just bend them over. Move that way so they bend up and down, please. Pushing that down nice and flat. Leave it. That's grand. I might put a little bit of tape on the back of this just to keep it in place. This isn't the tape I was looking for, but it will do. I think this one's packaging tape. The other one was picture frame tape, but it will all work nicely. So I've got a tab there already. Oh, I'm quite excited for later. So last night we started watching a movie. We used to do, last night was Sunday, so probably won't be last night for you, so I don't know when this is coming out. And we used to always have a film on a Sunday night. It's just what we did. But because we found we got to a point where we weren't watching films, and it is something that we really enjoy, watching films. So we decided, oh, we'll do films on a Sunday. And we've had the new Avatar movie sitting there on Disney Plus waiting to be watched. But because it's 3 hours long, we don't usually have 3 hours to watch. So last night we were like, shall we start it? I was like, yeah, no problem. Anyway, so we started it. And we watched 2 hours. 2 hours. Hadn't really noticed that 2 hours had gone. So we've got the last sort of hour to watch. So I'm going to watch it tonight. Can't wait. Really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. You sort of sit there and you watch it and you go, I'm just in awe of the special effects. I really am. Right, let's get rid of this board. So, just going to glue that in place. I'm going to use Carlisle glue. Stick it in place. Yes, I'm very excited. We stopped at a point where it was pretty good to stop. Okay. So I'm going to put my glasses on for this. I'm going to I'll take a ruler. I'm not going to take that ruler. I'm going to take this ruler because it's got straight lines on it, so I can kind of see where it's level, the edge of the book. So that it should be straight. Straight and centered. Not that I've really counted that. I kind of eyeballed it to be the centre that way. I could have used the ruler more successfully to do that bit, but I didn't because I'm a numpty. I think that's about centre. There we go. Gonna hold it up and have a look. Yeah, that looks good. Good enough for me. Right. And that's that bit. I might put a little bit of acetate down there. Or I might leave it. A bit glue oozed out there. But I think that should be it. Done. So that's my little book plate. Now, what I decided, and I've done off camera, I didn't think you needed to see, and you could work out quite easily how it was done. Because this is an altered book, it's quite springy. So if you were wanting to write on here, I mean that's got tags on the back, you'd have to take them out. It's not very there, that one there. So that one, it's got nothing on the back. That was designed that you could write there, and then you could write there. It's a bit soft, so I thought it needs a book board. So I've made a book board so that can just go underneath, and then it's now nice and firm to write on. Now often when you make a book board, you make them so that they can then slip in a pocket. And well, this isn't going to slip in a pocket. It's too big. So my thoughts were, I'm just going to put it on the front of the journal. So that's how we get a little bit of decoration on the journal. And I just thought I'd take a little bulldog clip and sort of clip it to the top of the journal. So it's there. That's a possibility. And then I thought, I don't really like that. So why don't I add some decoration with tying something round? Really like the way the last two journals that I made, that I tied something around. And I bought myself some new PJs, and they were held together like this. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. Could utilise that idea in a journal. Now, I'm not going to use this bit of ribbon, but I really liked this as a concept of a decoration around a journal. So I'm going to replicate that. And I thought, if I'm thinking of using, I pulled it out, there it is, of using this sort of sacking burlap to go round. So my thoughts were that if that went round, it's quite rustic, and obviously we need a little bit of elastic. Like so, and we add a decorative square thing on there. That would look pretty. That would look pretty. I do have a tag I've not used. I did think about that. But I really quite like the way that this is like a rectangle with, and I thought I could just make a rectangle, use some more paper, and do that. So that is my idea. So I am going to pop this round. So I'm going to do it because you're going to put elastic on it to tighten it up. So it doesn't have to, so it needs to be less than the circumference. So I'm going to cut it off there. There. So that's going to go around there, and then we need a little bit of elastic, but we need to thread it through our little square thing first. So I've got some chipboard, so I've got this. That might be a wee bit not the right size, so I'm going to cut this to be a square or a slight rectangle. I'll go 3 inches wide. Quite like the idea, 3 inches wide. So I'll cut that down there. 3 inches. There we go. Shall I leave it at that? Not even sure if that's straight. Probably not. So we'll go 3.5, so I can cut that little tad bit off the end, and then I do know that it's straight. There. So that'll go on there. Like so. Yeah, that will be cool. So we need to cut some slits. So this is 1.25 inches. So we do 1.5 inches. So let's just check where the centre point is. So we're going to, that's the centre point. Across there. So that's got my centre. We'll come in just about half. So I don't want to do 1/4 of an inch, I want to come in a bit further. So we go down there. So do the same on the other side. About halfway along there. I'm into making it up as I go along realm here. So that's that line. So it's an inch, so we're going to go 1.5 inches, so we want to go up to 3 on each side. So if we now go 3/4 up there, and 3/4 there, and now I've got where I want my slit to go. I think I might use the help of my crocodile here to do a hole up there. It's always difficult when you do a chipboard because you end up with it stuck in there. Right, that's out. Hole there. Hole there. Oh, that one's decided to stay in. There we go. And then I've got somewhere to aim for cutting. Cutting out. Okay. So now I am going to line up the side of that hole, cut through, and then do the same on the other side, and then that should gone beyond. It should cut me a nice slit, and it has. I've gone a little bit beyond there, but it doesn't matter. But that's given me a nice little slit there. There we are. All done. That, cool. And then that. Go through there. And we'll put the elastic on the other side. And that'll be ready to go on the front of the book. Yeah, happy with that. I maybe didn't need to do it as long as that, but I have done, and so that's all there is to it. Right, I'm going to take one of my alcohol marker pens, and I'm going to take the lid off. That's it. That was difficult for me, and I'm just going to colour. Just going to colour the inside of this because it would just be really difficult to get down. So I'm just colouring around this hole rather than get my paint out. Just done that. Do the edges as well. Because I'm not yet sure what I'm going to do. But if we do this, it's a really good match. Might well end up going around it in gold. But we'll just do this for now. This is the underside, Jez. But you know what I'm like. I like the underside to look good as well. Might rub those pencil marks out. Well, I wonder if I could find a rubber. Not sure where I've got a rubber. There we go. So that is going to fit on there nicely. That's good. That colour really is very good actually. So I really like these flowers. I don't really want to put, I think, I do like that one actually. I might have, no I haven't got half a sheet, so I think what we'll do, that's 3 inches, yes, so I think we'll come down there. It's 3 inches, isn't it? Yes, yes. So I'm going to come down there. I'm going to do this so it fits, I think. So I might end up taking just an itsy witsy bit off it. But for the moment, I'll just do this. So that'll go on there like that. Yeah. So go across there. That'll look pretty. Let's have a little look-see what we might be looking at. That'll look pretty. That behind. I do quite like that. That's a way of closing the journal, and then if you put the writing board somewhere else, that would be the front. You could have it a little bit further up, and that would be quite pretty. Yeah, I like. So let's do these bits. Put that straight. Cut across there. Yeah. And then what I need to do is get the slit out. So where's my nice pencil gone? And I think we're going to do the same thing. Yep, so that's worked out well. So ink round this and stick it down. I'll stick down on there nicely. I'm just going to, because you will see the back of this, so I am going to go over the rest of it. I don't want to paint it because I don't want it to be in any way sticky with paint to paint. Yeah, that'll do. I am going to put glue on this bit. There we go. So now put these bits on. We'll have a bit of wigglage. So that's that bit done. So now we need a bit of elastic. I'm going to put it on backwards to work this out. I also need to work out where my elastic is. So, need a little bit of elastic to go across there. So I just need to find my elastic. Right, so I found some elastic. It is not as thick as I'd like, but it'll do. I bought this for making masks during lockdown. So I could put a couple of bits on here. So maybe about that. So that is it. Let's close it a bit. So we need that stretch. Well, we need to cut this a bit more actually, because otherwise I'm just not going to have much of a gap, am I? If we look at my inspiration one, it's got that much of it's hardly any gap, and then it stretches to be that. So I think I'm going to cut a little bit of that off. And then we'll take a bit of this. Yeah, so about that much. So not very much, because obviously we want the elastic to stretch, so you don't want it to be exactly the size that you want. So I'm going to do 3 bits. And I'm going to, so 1 in the middle, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, and the same on the other side. I also want them, I think I want it to be a different colour. So I'm going to bring out this again and colour this elastic. There we go. So to go to my sewing machine. Okay, so that has been sewn in. I would recommend thicker piece of elastic. Not the best sewing. It was really difficult. And have I twisted that? Oh, somehow. I don't know how I did that I've got the different ends. Anyway, it's done. You're not going to see it. It is what it is. So this slips. It's just easier to go up from the bottom because then you haven't got the charms to contend with. There we go. It's a nice snug fit. I'm going to pull it up a little bit more to the middle. There is room to grow. This elastic will, so, you know, if this was fatter, it would be all right. And then we're going to put our writing board. I mean, you could put the writing board that way, but I've wrapped this side, so I'm going to do it that way. Now, I did have this tag which I could put behind, but then I thought, oh, I want something bigger, and then I remembered I've got one of these, so that pop behind I thought was maybe a bit prettier, so could put both, could do both, have a nice little bundle there behind, and so that's it. So that's the finished thing. I'll do a separate flip through of this. Thoroughly enjoyed making this. Has taken a while. Well, it hasn't taken that long. It just feels it when I video. It feels like it takes longer because of the whole sort of filming process. But I'll definitely be doing another altered book like this in the future. Really enjoyed it. I think if I do it again, I might not film every bit because you have sort of seen a lot of it, but so I can refer to this video. But yeah, how's that for an autumn journal? So yeah, hopefully I'll get this out before I start the Christmas collaboration, and yeah, hope you've enjoyed that. I will love this for a bit longer before I part with it. So yeah, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.